What's the difference between being a friend and being a slave? A friend to a friend does things out of love. Friends do not have to do anything for you, but they will because they love you and don't want to hurt you. A good friend wants you to be happy. Yet a slave doesn't care about his or her master but would listen and would be obedient out of fear. And Jesus wants you to be his friend, not a slave. So how to determine if you are Jesus' friend or only his slave? The answer can be found in the Gospel reading for this Sunday. So first Jesus said, "As the Father loves me, so I also love you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love." And right after that, Jesus continued, "You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I have called you friends because I have told you everything I have heard from my Father." So to become Jesus' friend, first we must follow his commandments, but second, we must follow them out of love for God and out of love for another person. If you do that, then Jesus calls you his friend today. However, if you follow God's commandments not because you love God but out of fear of God, you are not his friend, but you are a slave. A slave of commandments, a slave of church teachings, a slave of religion. You will never be happy as a slave. Instead, you will always feel limited, controlled, punished, and you would be afraid not to break any of the commandments, because out of fear of punishment by your master. Who wants to be a slave? I often hear that the commandments that we have limit our freedom, and we want to be free, we want to do what we want and when we want. If someone thinks this way, then he or she will never be happy. They will be enslaved to religion, tradition, to the law. Jesus wants us to be his friends. He calls you and me his friend. However, if you want to remain in this friendship, you must understand the commandments not as some kind of limitation or the law that was created to control you as enslaving you. Rather, see them as the best guidance for you to a happy life, a life filled with joy, peace, and freedom. Again, Jesus tells you today, if you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. I no longer call you slaves because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I have called you friends because I have told you everything I have heard from my Father. Keep the commandments out of love for God, not out of fear. If you do that, you will understand why we have the commandments. More than that, you will be thankful and happy that we have them, because they are the recipe to good and a happy life, to a life that will last forever. Keep the commandments out of love, and you will remain in the most wonderful friendship with Jesus. He doesn't want you to be a slave, but a friend. So let's go to work, and God bless you.